Hello and welcome to today's March Power Play. Can you believe that we're in the last week of the series? I've been having such a great time, and from the feedback I've been getting, you guys really like these little 5-minute power plays. So we'll have to see what we can do for April. But anyway, last week we talked about the knowledge silos and the systems that you needed in place. We talked about knowledge management, we talked about real-time communication. But let me tell you that just having the systems is not enough. Okay, so today we're going to dive into how you need to make sure that you have the strategy or the corporate culture to support the breaking down of those knowledge silos. Okay, so even when you have the systems in place, you need to encourage and reward your workforce for using them. This is not a field of dreams. If you build it, they are not going to come. Most people come to work, they do what has been working, and they go home. They're not looking for new ways to make things work. Now, you will have those one or two individuals, you will have that small minority that does do that. Again, that's how knowledge silos get created. You have those people who go above and beyond, those initiators, who seek out and love to just soak up knowledge. But for the most part, most people come to work just to do the job that they've been given. So it's important that you have to have the right amount of proper persuasion and bountiful benefits when you put these new systems in place in order to get people to actually use them. All right. So then the second thing is after you determine, how we're going to get people to start using these things and rewarding them for it, is that you have to make sure that everybody has access. You can't say that, oh, we have this system, oh, we have this information available, but then you're still only giving it to select people. So not only do you have to be able to determine upfront who needs to have the information, but you need to make sure that you have the right gatekeepers. What do I mean by that? I mean that you need to have people who are able to be discerning. They need to be people who understand the dependencies on how things work together because everything may not be in the SOP. They need to be able to know how one task talks to another task, how one department should interact with another department. So even if it is not written out, displayed, told to them who should have access, they'll be able to know and be able to share the information with people as needed. So they'll be able to open the gates so that people can have access to what they need. The basis of this is strong SOPs. But again, you're also going to need some very strong gatekeepers who are able to pivot and shift and be able to read the room and know what needs to be done. And then last but not least, um, you need to make sure that you have your real-time communication system in place. So you just can't have a knowledge management tool like for the sake of understanding a Microsoft SharePoint. You also need to be using Microsoft Teams chat or something with that, two comparable products, okay? So that the people are able to have conversation with one another. Because the other thing that's going to make these systems work best, the thing that's going to break down these silos is when you get your workforce to a point where they're used to relying on one another. So even when they don't have access to the information or they don't know where the information is located readily offhand, they need to know that they can reach out to the person next to them in the cubicle next to them or on the screen next to them in virtual offices and be able to get the answers that they need. Not only are people going to be open to sharing answers, but it's actually going to make your workforce stronger because you're going to build that camaraderie, whether you're in a virtual office or they're in the same office every day. And that goes a long way in increasing your productivity. Okay. So just to recap, you want to make sure that when you put the systems in place, that you have the right tools to get people to start to use them and to reward them for using them. You also want to make sure you have the best gatekeepers in place to make sure that the information sharing doesn't have any bottlenecks. And third, you want to make sure that you're combining a knowledge management tool with a real-time communication tool so that you can grow, you can nurture a opportunity, an environment where your employees work with one another. Okay. So, what do I want you to do? What's your actionable strategy today? Your actionable strategy is to create a team with at least one person from every department so that they can start to explore and discover where the cross dependencies are. so that they can start to discover who the best gatekeepers would be. In other words, I want you to do the groundwork so that you can not only have the systems in place, but create a culture where people will use the systems, work with one another, and then productivity will grow overall. So that's it. That's all I have today. So you know what it is. If you enjoyed this, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you found this valuable, share it with at least 3 people. We're still in March. We're still moving forward. So let's make sure to share and have a great day. Talk to you soon.